This isn't just Algeria against Ivory Coast. This is Algeria against the whole of Africa. This is Algeria against CAF. And this is a massive game. Hello and welcome back to another video on my channel. Now, a couple of days have passed since the shocking result against Equatorial Guinea. I think we've all calmed down a little bit. I've certainly calmed down after that game because nonetheless Algeria are still in with a chance of progressing to the last 16 of AFCON 2021. That's right, we are not out of the competition yet. There is a lot to talk about in the run-up to this game, so this might be quite a long video. So get a cup of tea or a coffee or a Selecto, stick around and let's see what we have to say about this game, because Ivory Coast are taking on Algeria for a place in the last 16 of AFCON. Effectively what this is, it's like a knockout game already because we have to win. This is a must-win game. Only a win will take Algeria through to the next round. We draw, we'll be on 2 points, we'll be out. We lose, we'll be on 1 point, we'll be out. We win the game, 4 points will take us through. And what's absolutely remarkable is that Algeria can even still win this group. That's right, Algeria still have the potential to win Group E. And that's because of that incredible Sierra Leone equaliser, the 2-2 against Ivory Coast. That last minute goal, when the Ivorian goalkeeper spilt the ball and Corker set up Kamara and they made it 2-2. That goal has given Algeria a lifeline to still win this group, despite the fact that we haven't scored in our opening 2 games, which is absolutely incredible. This is a huge opportunity we have to take. Now, if we look at the table at the moment, Ivory Coast are sitting top on 4 points in first place. Then Equatorial Guinea are second with 3 points. Then Sierra Leone are third with 2 points. And Algeria are currently bottom with 1 point. And can you believe if we lose this game to Ivory Coast, or we don't win, all the other 3 teams could go through and we'd be out. Absolutely extraordinary. This is going to be a fascinating game, and even the BBC have decided to pick up this game in the UK. So Algeria against Ivory Coast will be live on BBC iPlayer in the UK, free to watch, no dodgy streams. Massive, massive game. Now, many people asking about the permutations for Algeria in this group. It's quite simple. Algeria just have to win the game. Whether that be 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, 3-1, 2-0, it doesn't matter what the score is. And it doesn't matter what the score is in the other game either. We don't need to worry about the score in the other game in terms of progressing. We just have to win the game. We win the game, we are through. 4 points puts us into the last 16. However, what the other game does determine is if Algeria come first, second or third, and who their opponent in the last 16 would be. But I have to say, in terms of where we are right now, I don't care who we get in the next round. I just want to be in the next round. So I'll take any win. 1-0 win, last minute penalty, we're in the last 16 inshallah. So the situation is this. If we win the game, that takes us onto 4 points, which would be the same as Ivory Coast. So we beat Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast and Algeria will both be on 4 points. However, the first permutation is head-to-head. And of course, if we just beat Ivory Coast, that means we have the head-to-head over Ivory Coast. So if Algeria beat Ivory Coast, we finish above Ivory Coast. Now the result in the other game impacts where Algeria finish in this table. If the other game is a draw, and Sierra Leone and Equatorial Guinea draw, and we win our game, then there will be Algeria, Equatorial Guinea and Ivory Coast all on 4 points in the top 3, with Sierra Leone bottom with 3 points after 3 draws. So Sierra Leone could draw the game and finish bottom despite the fact that they haven't lost. It's incredible. And also, with those 3 teams on 4 points, it would then come down to a 3-way head-to-head and then goal difference. So for example, if we beat Ivory Coast 2-1, then the other game's a draw, we'd actually finish top of Group E. So there are many permutations, but the bottom line is win the game. Let's not worry about the maths yet. Let's get the lead or take the lead or whatever, and then worry about who we've got afterwards. Because right now, if you offered Belmadi any place in the last 16, I think he would take it. So just to make it clear, Algeria are not out of AFCON. They simply have to win this game. It's like a knockout game already, or we will be out of AFCON. So it's a must-win game. Now, we are coming up against Ivory Coast, who beat Equatorial Guinea 1-0 in the first game, and then drew 2-2 to Sierra Leone in the second game. And if Sierra Leone, with all due respect, can score 2 goals against them on that pitch as well, we've got a chance of scoring against them. And we have to make some serious changes to the team. Now, our history with Ivory Coast at AFCON is actually quite frequent. We've met with Ivory Coast at AFCON quite a few times in recent years. You remember the 2019 edition, we drew 1-1 and beat Ivory Coast on penalties. We remember in 2010, Algeria beat Ivory Coast in extra time after a last-minute goal. That was actually beating Halilhodžić's Ivory Coast. So we've got an okay record against Ivory Coast in recent years. And of course, that 2010 AFCON, Algeria lost 3-0 to Malawi, and then we beat Mali 1-0, and I think drew to Angola in the last game. So 4 points in 2010 took us through, despite the fact that we lost 3-0 to Malawi. And that was when third place teams weren't even a thing. So very much possible to still advance from this group. We've just got to bounce back. The players have got to really put their minds to it. Now, this game is massive. In terms of Ivory Coast, they're going to probably play a front three of Wilfried Zaha, Nicolas Pepe and Sebastian Haller. Now, that front three is good compared to the other teams in this tournament. It's a better front three than what Sierra Leone had. It's a better attack than what Equatorial Guinea had. It's the best attack we're going to come up against. And there has to be massive changes reflected in Belmadi's lineup. He has to change things. Playing the same players all the time, Belali, Bonaja, it reminds me of the old days when we used to see Tyder and Bentaleb all the time in midfield. You've got to chop and change. The definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. You're going to get the same result every time. There is pressure on Belmadi, not in terms of keeping his job, but to make sufficient changes for this game, because there are certain players that deserve to play. Now, it's going to be very interesting to see what lineup he fields. And I think I've come up with a team that could do the job. And I don't think Belmadi will do this, but it's what I would do. So this is the team I would play, and it's interesting. So for me, Rice and Bull, he will keep his place in goal, whatever happens. I don't think he's had a bad tournament. He's only let in 1 goal. He's done his bit. He's made quite a few saves as well in both games. Rice and Bull, he in goal. And then I'm looking to switch to 3 at the back. 3 centre-backs. Issa Mandi at the heart of it. I'd have Mehdi Taharat. Now, Mehdi Taharat or Benrahma. Of course, Benrahma did come off with the injury because of that pitch. So Jamal Benrahma can come into the side if he's fit. If Jamal Benrahma is not fully fit, I think it's a big risk to play him against Haller, Pepe, Zaha. So I'd have Mandi, Taharat or Benrahma, depending on who's fit. And then on the left centre-back, I would put Rami Bensebaini into left centre-back, a position he has played in before for the national team. So a back 3 of Bensebaini, left centre-back, Mandi, and then Taharat or Benrahma, depending on who's fit. And then we have sort of a 3-4-3 going forward. So left wing-back, you're bringing Chetty, and Chetty had a great Arab Cup. So I'm bringing in Chetty to the left wing-back role, and in the right wing-back role, I'm bringing in Yusuf Artal. And I think right wing-back is a position where Artal really thrives, because he's much better offensively than defensively. So Yusuf Artal in right wing-back could really, really maximise his strengths. So you've got Bensebaini, left centre-back, Mandi and Taharat or Benrahma, and then you've got Chetty and Artal. And on these big pitches, you need defensive insurance, and it'll also make it much, much tougher for Pepe, Zaha, Haller to find spaces, because when we defend, we'll be defending as a 5. So there'll be much less spaces in between. And then in 2 midfield, Benassa with Zarouki. Now, Zarouki has returned to training. Whether or not he starts remains to be seen. I think we have to throw in Zarouki. I dropped Faguli from this game. I dropped Bendubka. Benassa, Zarouki for me, that's what's been working together. Zarouki's huge for this team now. He's a big player for the future. And Benassa's also a big player for the future as well. So Benassa, Zarouki for me. So you've got your 3 at the back. You've got your wing backs. You've got Benassa and Zarouki, who of course can defend as well. If we are 1-0 up, we can have a nice block of those 3 centre-halves, the 2 wing-backs, and those 2 in midfield who can do defensive duties. And then you've got the front 3 who you're relying on to deliver goals for Algeria at this tournament, which we haven't done so far. My front 3, Benrahma on the left. Saeed Benrahma has got to start this game. What has Benrahma got to do? I do not want to see Yusuf Belali start this game. I do not want to see Yassin Brahimi start this game. You've got to make changes. You've tried things, it's not working. Against 2 relatively weaker sides, with respect. Benrahma has to play on the left. Mahrez, captain, still our best player. Need to see more from him at this tournament on the right. And I think Mahrez against a bigger team, and Benrahma against a bigger team, against Eric Bailly, against maybe Serge Aurier, this is a defence we can get at. And these players, Benrahma and Mahrez, have played against multiple times before in English football. And then up front is my gamble. Amora to start. Magamble, pace, pressing, closing down, runs in behind. Benrahma, Mahrez and Amora. Amora is a wild card because not only do we not really know what to expect from him, Ivory Coast don't really know what to expect from him. And you factor in the fact that the first choice Ivory Coast goalkeeper was done for doping, and the second choice Ivory Coast goalkeeper made that huge mistake and came off injured, and then Aurier had to go in goal. So we might be playing against the third choice Ivory Coast goalkeeper. So Benrahma, Amora and Mahrez. And then I think this team, I'd love to see this team. I think this team really works. I don't think it will happen, like he might go 4-4-2 or whatever, but I think this team's beautiful and I'd love to see it. So I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below of this team I've made, and also like what changes would you make to your team for the game against Ivory Coast. So we've talked about the team and we've talked about the group situation. Now let's talk about the conditions. Now this is going to be a Thursday afternoon game, 4 PM kickoff. So it's going to be probably dark in the second half and light in the first half. It's still going to be humid, it's still going to be warm, but it's generally warm all the time in this tournament. So still warm, 4 PM kickoff. We played at 1, we played at 7, we didn't win either game. Of course it is warm for both teams, but the big issue here is that playing surface, that absolute potato field. It's really hard, and Ivory Coast couldn't beat Sierra Leone on it. Let's not forget this. They couldn't beat Sierra Leone on that pitch like us. So they are struggling as well, despite the fact that they sit on 4 points. I'm sure they have their concerns as well. Now this pitch in Douala was built for this AFCON. It only opened a few months ago. And we requested to move from this stadium to the one in Yaoundé, which is where Cameroon have been playing. And that request has been rejected by CAF. Now why would CAF purposefully make Algeria play on the worst pitch at the tournament for all 3 group games? They've even moved the Sierra Leone Equatorial game, which is going to kick off at the same time. They get to play in Limbe, I think. That's Tunisia's pitch. They get a beautiful playing surface and a smaller field as well. Why have they stuck Algeria on this pitch? There is a massive agenda from CAF. And like I said at the start, these guys at CAF and the whole of Africa are against us. We're not just playing Ivory Coast. Algeria are playing versus 53 other African nations. There isn't a country outside of Algeria that wants to see Algeria win this cup. There isn't. There isn't. They don't want us to win it, and I don't know why. They've given us the worst field, and they're saying now in the last game against Equatorial Guinea, VAR wasn't working. We were promised VAR in every game. And you've appointed in that game a Guatemalan ref who speaks Spanish, just like Equatorial Guinea. There's certain factors that do not add up. There's definitely a conspiracy against Algeria from the CAF officials at this tournament, and I don't care if what I say is politically incorrect, it's facts. And now going into this last game, they haven't let us change pitch. There's no reason why we can't change pitch. Why would you want to promote your game, your tournament, on a worse pitch when you have amazing stadiums that are fine? It's literally sand. They're putting sand in it. What is this? You got guys who are winning the Premier League here, and now you're putting them on sand. You might as well play on the beach. It is stupid. It's very stupid. And also, we didn't have VAR in that second game. Of course, Yusuf Belali had a goal chalked off for offside. Now, I'm not saying the goal was onside. It's very, very tight. What my concern is, that should have gone to a VAR check. It should have gone to a VAR check because the flag goes up after. We didn't see a VAR check. And it's also cut out of the official CAF highlights replays. It's very, very suspicious and very dodgy. VAR has been crucial in this tournament in giving the big teams penalties. We've seen, Tunisia, Cameroon, Morocco, Senegal, all been given penalties in this tournament. We haven't had a sniff. Now it's very, very weird that everyone else is getting these big calls except us. When Mali played Tunisia and the whistle went early, CAF actually said to Tunisia, you know what, come back out and play the last few minutes. I know they didn't, but they gave them that chance. We should be given the right to a replay if there was no VAR in that second game, because that is unfair. That gives an unfair advantage to the other teams and it doesn't make it a fair game. Also, as well as rejecting the chance to change the pitch, they appointed the referee originally, Joshua Bondo from Botswana. Now this is the guy that did Burkina Faso 1, Algeria 1 a few months ago, didn't give Mahrez a clear pen, and didn't give a red card for a tackle on Ben Sebaini that ended up making him injured for 6 weeks. So we're looking to change that ref. By the time this goes out, I don't know what referee is going to be appointed. There's been rumours that we are successful in changing that ref to either a South African or a Gambian ref. All I know is we need a fair ref. We need a fair ref for both teams, and the level of officiating at this tournament has been poor. I really do not trust these referees, and come back to this after the game if Ivory Coast do get a penalty or a last minute decision or we get a red, because I wouldn't be surprised. We're due a decision. We're massively due a decision. We're due a VAR check. We had handballs in the first game for penalties that weren't given, that we've seen other teams get penalties for. So the refs, the pitch, the humidity. There's a lot of factors going against Algeria here, and I do think it's starting to get to Belmadi, the staff and the squad. They're starting to really feel the impact of having genuinely what it feels like everything against them. And that's why I think you see a lot of fans, particularly the ones out there in Cameroon, the Algeria fans, they're still behind the team. Like, they're not slating the manager. We're still very much behind the team. They're still following the team bus around. There's very much still genuine support for Algeria and belief that we can beat Ivory Coast, because we've been in situations before where we needed a result in the final game and we've bounced back, like that 2010 AFCON. We've bounced back despite we lost 3-0 to Malawi. We bounced back. We've bounced back before. We can do it again. We can do it again, inshallah. A draw's no good. Like, if we draw the game and play well, it's too little too late ultimately, and we will bow out the tournament with 2 points. No way is 2 points enough to finish third. Okay, you probably need 4 points minimum. So, this is huge. This is Algeria taking on Ivory Coast. I've got to see Saïd Benrahma and Amora play. I've got to see changes. Zarouki's got to come in if available. Adam Nurse has to feature at some stage if he's fit. Again, you saw that game against Ghana before the Cup on the nice pitch in Qatar, 3-0 without Mahrez, with Adam Nurse scoring 5-6 minutes in. So to go from that to this, you can't blame the team. The unbeaten record was nice, but it's not important. What's important is we get through. If we go out this group stage, it's going to be a travesty. It's really going to have a negative effect, considering we've got those World Cup qualifiers to come. And the draw for that is coming up next week, by the way, so stick around for that. So hopefully, inshallah, Algeria can get the win against Ivory Coast. But like I say, there's many factors against us here. We're on the potato field again. And of course, things are changing all the time. You know, stuff might come out, injuries, change of officials after I've made this video, fair enough. So be ready for, expect the unexpected from AFCON. But I really, really hope for a fair game. If we go out fairly, I'm okay. But this is a tough game. And Ivory Coast, like, it's not the amazing Ivory Coast of the Drogba, Yaya Toure, Salomon Kalou years, but this is still Ivory Coast, still a good team. But I think we can beat them. I think we can beat them. Like, player for player, there's probably a lot of mixture in terms of a combined 11, but I think we're good enough. We're good enough to beat them. We've beaten them before to win the cup. We can do it again. The players have to believe. They have to believe. And if you believe, you can achieve. Jamal Belmadi, a nation has expectation on you to deliver. We are all behind you. We are behind the Algerian national team. We back your decisions. We respect you as a manager. You've brought us so much joy. Please, 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 inshallah, deliver us this victory and take us to the last 16, because it would be absolutely massive. It would give a nation something to cheer about. They have nothing to celebrate at the moment in Algeria. The quality of life is poor. This result could mean a lot to so many people. Inshallah, Algeria get the win. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you after the game.